Hello, dear proactive parents. Good afternoon. It's been a long time I came on live on this space, and I really need to know if people can see me and people can hear me before I proceed. So, if you're online, kindly let me know you're online and kindly let me know that you can hear me so that we can proceed. Are you online on Facebook or on Instagram? Kindly wave, say something. I need to be sure that I can be heard before I proceed. Good afternoon. People that are on Facebook, are you Raising Outstanding Kids group? If you're there, kindly let me know. Kindly let me know if you're on Facebook, please. Chidima, I've seen you on Instagram. I also wish you could help me check out Facebook if it's possible. I need to be sure that all is well. I need to be sure that I'm not just speaking to myself on Facebook. I've not had anybody on Facebook yet. Please let me confirm before we proceed. While we wait, my name is Chinedu Ore. I'm your partner in proactively raising children to be outstanding. And today, we've not been going live for quite a while, but I felt that it was good to maximize the holiday period to do something. And that's why we're here today. And like I had mentioned earlier, we're going to be looking at raising caring children, raising caring children. If you're on Facebook, before you comment, kindly allow StreamYard, give StreamYard permission so when you give a comment, we can see who it is exactly that is commenting. Because if you don't permit StreamYard, it can only show your name as Facebook user, and I'd really like to know who it is that we are speaking with. Okay, thank you. I've received a number of I can hear you, I can see you, I can hear you so well. Awesome. Thank you so much for keeping a date with us. Like I said, I am Chinedu Ore from the Raising Outstanding Kids family, and we are on a mission to proactively to help parents to proactively raise their children to be outstanding. I personally believe that raising children right is one of the key factors for the change we want to see in our community, in our society, in our country. We always hear people complaining about how things are going bad in the world, how we don't have the right leaders, how there's so much violence, a lot of vices. And the question is, who are the people perpetuating these vices? Who are the bad leaders? Who are the people responsible for the ills that we see in our society? And one answer is key. Every person we see in our society doing one thing or the other that is not right came from the family, because the family is the fundamental unit of society, the primary agent of socialization. So if you don't get it right in the family, you can't get it right in any society. So we complain a lot, but I know that even as we complain, we also have something to do. We all also have a role to play. Please, can I know where you guys are connecting from? Which town are you connecting from? I'd really love to know. So one thing I want us to talk about today is how to raise caring kids. I'm currently working on a project called Raising Children of Impeccable Character. And being caring is a core character trait that our children should have. These days, it seems as if parents are more into getting their children to be excelling in school, doing very well academically at the expense of good character. But there is no great child, there's no great person anywhere whose character is defective. Character is the anchor for success. And being caring is one of those pillars of character that is key. That is the truth. And I'm a Christian, so I draw my leanings and all that from the word of God. And if you go through scripture, you will see the Bible emphasizing on love, and showing care stems from a heart of love. That is why the commandments are encapsulated in two things: love God, love your neighbors. Once you love people around you, you show care to them. And when you show care to them, it's a positive character trait that goes round. And you can't hurt someone that you truly care about or who you show care to. So you think about it, those people that probably are elected into places of authority and they are wasting the resources of the common man, obviously do not care for the people they are leading. People that kidnap others obviously do not care for the people that they are kidnapping. So you find out that when there is lack of care, which stems from a lack of love, a lot of things go wrong in the society. There is an increase in vices in the society. Some research was carried out after the Second World War. If you know the background of the Second World War, Jews were being destroyed. And there was a research that was carried out because there are some people that were going out of their way to rescue Jews, and there are some people that didn't care. And they found out that the people that were going out of their way to help Jews were the people that were raised in a family where love and care was key. So who are you raising? What is the environment you have in your home? Do you have the environment that encourages people to care for the next person? Or do you have an environment where you are only into yourself, into your children, and you're unknowingly raising entitled children? Because the truth is that these days we see children manifesting a lot of entitlement. There is so much entitlement with the people around us, and we haven't realized that we are allowing world values to impact us, and we are promoting negative world values. For example, we always preach self-love, we always preach do you. Yes, I know that if you don't love yourself, you can't give love to others. But self-love should not now be the same thing as selfishness. Because in the bid to, display self-love, we've become self-absorbed. We've become so selfish that we don't think of the next person. We are all more or less after what it is that gratifies us. We have this sense of entitlement, and those are the issues. Honestly, we need to go back to the drawing board and think about what we are doing and the long-term impact it can have both on us and on our children. Because if we raise entitled children, we will be the victims tomorrow, because by the time the children grow up and have their own families and their own perceived responsibilities, they might leave us at the back seat, and then people in that category in the evening of their lives will not have the support system of the family around them, because sometimes we don't even realize that we are raising dragons that will come back to us. So please, I want to encourage us to all go back to the drawing board and think about it. What kind of children are we raising? Are we raising entitled children? Are we raising caring children? Do you know, when you show care and love to others, there are a lot of benefits. Of course, there's increased empathy, and the chances of people being hurt is reduced. Another thing that is most important is that when you show love and care to others, personally, you are gratified. I don't know whether you have ever experienced it. If you have, please let me know. You've gone out of your way to put a smile on another person's face. You've gone out of your way to show someone love. You will experience joy welling in. And that is because that is how the system of our bodies is wired. We are wired to show love, and when we show love, we get joy and happiness in return. Our system is wired to be that way. There is no time you affect another person positively, you add value to the next person. And this showing care doesn't have to be something very humongous. It could be a call to check up on someone. It could be a smile on a bad day. It could be to ask that child that is sitting on him by himself in school what is wrong with him or her. It could be sharing something you have with the next person. But we become so beat that sometimes we even think that if I'm not there, I'm a culprit as well. Sometimes I'm like, even if I'm not there, it doesn't matter. They will not miss me. They will not notice. Other people will be there. What I'm doing is actually more important, or something like that. We try to make excuses. But let us have it at the back of our mind that when we show care to others, we ourselves are blessed we feel fulfilled. You feel a sense of joy. And research has also shown that when you care for others, chances of falling ill is actually reduced for you. Chance of being depressed is actually reduced for you as well. Please, if you're here and you agree with anything I've said so far, please let me know in the comment section. How have you felt when you went out of your way to put a smile on someone's face, to show care to someone or help someone that cannot help him or herself at that point in time? How did the person feel and how did you feel? And I also want us to think about it. Have there been times that you knew that you could actually have helped someone, you could have actually gone an extra mile to do someone for something for someone, but you came up with excuses? It happens to all of us. It happens to the best of us. But it's good for us to appraise ourselves from time to time to know how we can do better and be better, and to help our children also to cultivate these cultures from an early age. Now, what are the reasons why it seems that these days people are more or less caring? You know, before we always had this statement that it takes a village to raise a child. You know, we've always heard this statement also that we should be our brothers' keepers. You know, but it's as if these days everybody's like, let me mind my own space, let me do my own thing. I don't want somebody's wahala and all those kind of things. It's as if people's mindsets are being changed over time. And one of the reasons why this is so is because parents are unknowingly raising children in a culture of entitlement. We are raising children in a culture of entitlement. We are now so obsessed with how we define excellence. Excellence being doing well in school. These days, to get into the best schools, there's a lot of competition. So the focus is on, maybe, for example, let me get my child into this particular school of choice. Let me help my child to do well. Let me get them lesson teachers. Let me, it's about my child, my child, my child. And in the bid to get your child into those big schools, in the bid to get your child to be outstanding in academics, you find out that you don't want them to be overburdened with other things that, would distract them from what you call your main goal. So because they are supposed to be in school and they need to do the very best, get into the best schools, you see yourself reducing, maybe you don't even give them chores, other responsibilities that's not about themselves is taken away from them. We can say, okay, now they spend longer hours in school, they'll come back and have their lessons, so there's no time for them to actually do house chores and all that. Then you find a situation where children become more entitled because they are in a position where they are the ones that everything is being done for. So they'll get to that high height and they don't do anything for anybody save for what they are doing for themselves. Parents will actually say this. I don't know whether you've heard it before. Parents will say, please, 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 just forget every other thing. Just focus on your academics and give me those good grades. This is all I need from you at this time. You might think you're helping the child, but in the long term, you are harming that child because the child has been wired to think only about himself, not understanding that there's a place of sacrifice, there's a place of commitment, there is a place of giving, there is a place of help, and there is more to life than just their personal success. So parents, I want us to go back to the drawing board. Peradventure, we have mistakenly entered that rut where all we are about is helping our children to top the class, helping our children to ace that exam, helping our children to get into that selective school. And by so doing, we have removed every other thing that is important in life, removed every other responsibility from them. If you have made that mistake, I want to encourage you to go back to the drawing board. We can all miss it, but the hallmark of greatness is to understand when you have missed it and make a deliberate decision to retrace your steps and do it right. Is that okay? So yes, that is basically one of the main reasons why we have children that are not as caring as they should be. Then another reason is that because of digitalization, our children spend so much time on the screens. And unfortunately, a lot of content on the screens these days are not wholesome. You don't see wholesome content. You don't see, movies and things like that that teach the right morals. How about the videos and the video games and all that that our children, watch? A lot of them are based on violence. The most popular video games have violence in them, and research has also shown that children that engage in violent video games grow up without empathy. Their whatever to care is drastically reduced. So these things look harmless. We are just engaging our children, keeping them busy. That's how it looks on the surface, but subconsciously their minds are being reprogrammed. There must be a reason the Bible said that we should guard our hearts with all diligence, because therein lies the issues of life. The subconscious mind, you don't really have control over. So you don't even know when a lot of things that you are exposed to affects one negatively. So screen time is another reason why excessive screen time, and then the content that they're exposed to on the screen, is another reason why we have started raising children that are less caring, less empathetic, and more entitled. And then unfortunately, in the country that we find ourselves in now, unfortunately, there has been a lot of divisiveness across ethnicity, and politically is being driven. And then you know that when there's this divisiveness, people do not have that tolerance as much as they should. They are not as tolerant as they should and all that. And that's another reason why the culture of care is reducing. So parents, I don't know what your posture is, whatever your political beliefs are, be careful not to get your children involved in them. Let us not be the ones that are driving the wrong stereotypes. Let us not make our children feel that people of other ethnic groups are less than them. We don't know that we are wiring our children wrongly by these actions. I gave an example at the beginning about the people that were saving the Jews during the Holocaust. So some of them said that when they were younger, their parents were including people of, maybe inviting Jews over or helping them. But when I was growing up, I never really knew that there was any difference between someone from this ethnic group and someone from another ethnic group. It was only now that as an adult that I now started realizing that actually when I was growing up, we had people of different ethnic groups in the society where I grew up in, but somehow we all were speaking the same language, doing things together. But now we are unknowingly driving division because of our interests and all that. Please, I want to encourage us to look out for these markers that drive lack of care, lack of kindness, and lack of empathy in our homes. Let us not contribute to this unknowingly. I hope I am making sense. If there's anything that you have got so far, please kindly indicate so I'll know that you're following me. Onyeka Chukwu Asado, thank you. He said, wisdom, Mrs. Ore, entitlement mentality is badly affecting our children. So now the question is, what can we do to change the tide? What can we do to change the tide? For me, I believe that the Bible in itself is complete. If you can remember the story of the Good Samaritan, Jesus used it to show people that it's not about people that are from your locality. It's not about people that are from your locality, because this man was harmed, and people that were supposed to be his people passed him by. But another person from another tribe, another ethnic group, was the one that actually came out to help him. So like I said, the Bible is complete in all things. First of all, I want you to understand that you cannot be caring if your heart and attitude is not right. It starts from the heart. Everything stems from the heart. What is their children's mindset? Do they have the culture of love and care instilled in them by their parents? What are your value system? Do you have a value system at home? And is character priority in that value system? Is the culture of love and care priority in that value system? Do your children know that they should go out of their way to look out for others, to put a smile in other people's faces? Do they know that the world does not revolve around them alone? What are you telling your children? Are you speaking with your children? Are you having meaningful conversations with your children? Do you even have a relationship with your children? Because you have to connect with your children before you can influence them. So if you don't have that relationship, you don't even have a foundation, to influence them. I always say that there's this approach that you should use. You should talk about it, you should model it, and you should give them opportunities to express it and to practice what you're teaching them. So the first key is to talk about caring, being caring as a critical character pillar that you believe is key in your home. It must be part of your value system. Prioritize it. If you have younger children, they learn more through stories. You can use stories to show them what care means. Do you know that in our secondary schools, we are always talking about bullying? We talk about bullying so much, but you find out that those bullies come from homes. And if someone actually comes from a home where care for others is prioritized, even if they were bullied, they will not pay it forward. But most times they have that mindset that, okay, I've been bullied, and when it's my turn, I'll get my own pound of flesh back. And we keep on perpetuating the culture of bullying. Meanwhile, we're supposed to be telling our children that what you don't want another to do to you, don't do it to them. If they've done something to you that hurts you, don't do it back. Don't hurt back. Learn to, put the feeling of the others at the forefront in whatever thing you're doing. Consider how it affects the next person. And then because we have this narrative, particularly for teenagers, that teenagers are entitled, teenagers push boundaries, teenagers can be this, they can be that, they form cliques and all those things. We keep on driving that narrative. And then when those kind of things happen, we just excuse that as part of what happens in teenage years. How about changing the narrative? How about setting high expectations? How about telling your children that, yes, this is the generalized opinion about things, but you are different. You have the capability to be different. What narrative are we driving at home? So let's begin to talk about it. Let's promote the culture of care. Let's encourage our children in our conversations. Parents should actually make sure that they have platforms where they converse with their children regularly. It can be during meal times, it can be over the weekend. They just make sure that you're connecting with your children, because you are the primary person that will teach your children virtue. Any virtues, first of all, they learn at home, and then it can be consolidated in school or at church or wherever else. But primarily, the responsibility lies with the parents. And I always say, for Christians, you need to anchor whatever thing you're driving, whatever agenda you're driving, on the word of God. Give them the more sure reason why they should do what you're telling them to do. So what we talk about is very key. Another thing that will help our children to grow to be caring children is when we give them responsibilities. Let them understand that they have the privilege of being part of a home, but the privilege comes with responsibilities, because everybody has a role to play. If your children know that they need to contribute, it makes them more responsible. And even when they go out and they are in a community, they understand that the part of their responsibility is to give their own bit in that community where they belong to. They wouldn't just be there to take. What is in it for me? No, I'm part of a community, and I have a responsibility to contribute my own bit to ensure that things work. Because most times in Nigeria, that's why sometimes people are driving on the road, irresponsibility will make them to throw trash along the roadside. Who does that? Irresponsibility will make someone pass along the corridor and see something that is out of the place and just leave it and pass because it is none of my business. But when you have, first of all, you give responsibilities in the house, children have chores. And the chores shouldn't just be about them making their own bed, washing their own clothes, ironing their own clothes, because all these things is just about them. They have to contribute to what helps the entire home, that is not just about them. Then encourage them also to come forward to volunteer help at home. Commend them. Let's say you're doing something and a child comes and asks you if you need a hand. It's commend them, because it is important that our children learn to take initiative and provide care, render care, whether they have been asked to do so or not. I don't know if I'm making sense. So give them responsibilities, give them chores in the house that is beyond their own space. If you have older children, encourage them to help their younger ones, maybe help them with their academics, or help babysit them, or assist in the kitchen, or clean the common areas. Make sure that they have responsibilities. It helps them, to become more caring, to see that they have something to contribute. So wherever they go, they will pay it for, they'll carry that mentality and impact positively on any society where they are a part of. That's one thing that we can do. Another thing is that we also encourage them to promote the culture of care beyond the boundary of the family. Yes, the one about chores is in the family, but beyond the family, the one about chores is right at what you're contributing in the family, but outside of the family, in their schools, let them volunteer. If something is being done, let them encourage them to volunteer. In church or wherever they find themselves, let them volunteer. They could, be part of community projects. What do they do during their holidays? Do they reach out to other people also? For example, in their larger families, the extended family, maybe their grandparents, their cousins, their uncles. You see someone that is ill, do you ask them to maybe pray for the person or check out the person in the hospital or something? What is that extra thing they are doing for people that are not directly related to them and of which they don't have any direct benefit? Do you understand? They wouldn't lose anything. It's not something that they are compelled to do, but they do it out of their own volition to help the next person. Create such opportunities, maybe during the holiday, during the weekend, even in the course of the week, because that nice thing could just be looking out for that boy in class that nobody checks out on. There is a clique in school, girls, and then they break the clique, or something like that. Now, let it be something that is higher than themselves, caring, and for people that cannot give them anything, in return. That is very key. Another thing I could suggest that you do, maybe you could, just keep it as top of mind for them. Probably at the end of the day or before in the beginning of a new day, ask them, what act of kindness are you going to do today? What act of kindness would you engage in today? Get them to start now to make the commitment. Because when they get it into themselves that there is something I can do to help another person, there is something I can do to put the smile on the face of another person, even when they've grown out of your house, they will sustain that character. So ask them, what can you do today to put a smile on another person's face? And then most importantly, what are you modeling as a parent? You show care to your children. You show care to the members of your family, and also find opportunities to show care to people that are not even within your space. Are we showing care? If we don't model it, our children will not pick it. Our children consciously and unconsciously pick on the things that we do. So can we start showing care? Even when we are on social media, can we be careful about how we speak? Can we consider the next person's feelings before we lash out? Can we just think about the next person? Can we? Sometimes it costs us nothing, or it just costs us a little thing to show care. If you ask some people, the things that have stood out for them are the minutest of things. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to cost so much money. It's just about having the right thoughts and acting on the thoughts. Never think that this action is too small. It doesn't matter if I do it or not. Just propose in your heart to find an opportunity to show care and to show love to the next person. Then another thing I need to say now is also about how our children start to see their future even from now. Most times, we as parents try to encourage our children to choose careers that will help them to fund their dreams, careers or courses that once they are done in school, they will get good jobs. Getting good jobs is key, but it's important that you train your children to go into the world, to look for what it is that they are going to do in the world, to impact their world positively. Let them live with a noble vision that is greater than themselves. I always tell parents, this also helps you to know what your children's pain points or your children's giftings and interests are. Rather than ask them what they want to become in future, ask them what they want to see change or what they want to improve in future. Let them live for a cause higher than themselves. That is the only way we can make impact. And then, dear parents, also start now in your own life to choose to make an impact, to live for a cause higher than yourself. What's that change you want to see? Begin to work now towards it. Your children will see you working towards it, and they'll understand that this is what life is about. We are called here to make a positive impact. We are called here to add value. We are called here to live for causes that are higher than ourselves. Because when they have that mindset, honestly, they will not just be out there looking for what is in it for me. A lot of people, ladies that lose lives, they are living like that because they don't see themselves as people that add value. They are only looking for what is in it for them. Kidnappers, bandits, they are looking for what is in it for them. Corrupt officials, they are looking for what is in it for them because they don't have that mindset of being people of change, people of value, living for a cause that is higher than themselves. So now, honestly, I really need to round up because my time is fast spent. It was supposed to be a 30-minute program. I don't know what you have heard so far, but I just want to summarize thoughts. The act of showing care is the act of going out of your way to express kindness to the next person, to put a smile on another person's face, and sometimes it might come at a cost to you. But we all need to live a life of care. And our body, we have been wired to show kindness, to show love, and to show care to others. Because once we do that, personally, we are gratified. Personally, we receive joy. What we sow, we receive it as well. And then we have to be very intentional about how we raise our children, because if we raise them to be entitled, they will lack empathy, they will not show care. And we unknowingly raise entitled children when we make them feel that the world is all about them, the world revolves around them, everything you're doing, you're working hard for them, everything is about them. Just do well. Just forget every other thing. I just want you to do well. I just want you to do well. No, we have to change that culture of entitlement, and we should be intentional about instilling the culture of care in our homes by making sure it's part of our family values, by always talking about it, by modeling it, and by creating opportunities for our children to also practice showing care to others. I hope I have imparted someone positively. If there's anything you have learned, kindly put it out there on the chat. Let's hear what your comments. If you have any questions, feel free to ask your questions as well. But one thing I always do at the end of every live session, I always ask you for a call to action. What will you start doing differently based on what you have heard today? It will be of no use to me if after everything I have said, we leave and continue what we have been doing before. What will you do differently? What will you do better? What have you been doing that you will improve on even doing? Is it by helping your children to become more responsible? Is it by modeling care? Is it by helping your children to intentionally choose an act of kindness that they'll engage in on a daily basis? Is it about, discussing these matters that have to do with character with your children? Is it going to be to encourage your children to start now to develop a vision for their lives that is higher than them and is for a noble cause? You can also tell your children to start now to carry out some research, to find out stories about people that showed care, why they showed care, what happened when they showed care. To help their research skills, they will learn presentation skills, and they too will learn about the subject matter, which is showing care. I don't know if there's anyone that has any comments or any contributions before we quickly sign out. And for everyone that has stayed with us up until this time, I want to sincerely appreciate you. I'm really very grateful that you kept a date with us. It shows that you're committed in your journey of raising children right. And I believe that God will help us. Our children will not miss it. Our children will be world changers. Our children will be the children that will show care. This is my prayer for each and every one of our children on these platforms in Jesus' name. So if there are no comments, I guess I would have to sign off now. Thank you so much for joining in, and let me read a few comments here. We should learn to develop a culture of care among our children. I'm very concerned about this because I have a lot of boys I work with. Thank you. Your place there as a person of influence. Keep creating opportunities for them to show care. It's in the little things. And I tell you, they'll be gratified, they'll be excited when they have that opportunity, to impact others. Because some people feel that they don't have anything to give. They don't have any value to add. But no, for every human being, there is value that you can add. Just look inward, take a step. From baby steps, you keep on increasing, you keep on improving, and the world will become a better place. All we need is a critical number of people who are willing to stand up to be counted, to do something today that will make a difference. So, thank you so much. I hope someone said that he or she wasn't hearing. I hope the network wasn't disturbing you so much. But I'm really very grateful, and I have to sign off now. Please enjoy the rest of your day. God bless you, and still invite others to join this group. Cheers and bye.